Here are polywogs or tadpoles. There was something interesting happened this morning, not, well, out here always, but online. There was I made a comment, response to a video, which I'll give you links to this, about water, whether it's aerobic or anaerobic, and my comment was about how I can keep water clear enough to be drinking water, really, by having just the smallest flow going through it. Now, by contrast, up here, there's no outlet or inlet to that new Zanja, but there will be. And so already you can see the water's not as healthy looking. Well, what made it interesting was I got a response almost immediately, and a discussion has begun, apparently. A discussion, the kind of which I have wished I had for many years. So I may be duplicating some of my videos here, but I thought I'd at least show you these tadpoles. And there's various generations of them. These are some of the oldest. Now, some of those zanjas there are beginning to go dry, and I'm going to do what I can to keep water in them for as long as I can. Usually they do go dry eventually in the summer, but as you'll see later in this very video, I've got a tremendous supply of water available, and I have ways of getting it down here. It's just spreading it out right is the trick. But I'm going to work on that. Now let's see, up here, not much of a flow, but still, and you can see that slick, that oil slick, that's from that iron oxidating bacteria. But in spite of that, yeah, there's salamanders in here, or not salamanders, not at the moment, but tadpoles. So I'm going to open this hatch wider. I'm going to start letting a bunch of water come down through this part. Here you can see I've just widened that hatch and deepened it a little bit, and so there's much more water going down through there. And you see it's going to that next hatch, letting it down, letting it down, letting it down. I'm going to really put the water to this area to see if I can. I've been running it from left to right mostly because that way it gets the farthest away from the source. But now that I'm all the way over here, I've been this way for quite a while, I'm now going to start aggressively running it back in such a way until I can keep water in those zanjas down there. Incidentally, they would be zajas de infiltración. Zajas would be the way you'd pronounce them in Spanish, but I pronounce that J. Oh, there's the boar. He's always late. I got to go back down there now and let him across. Way down there is where I was. But I'm working my way up to the supply, and I thought I'd stop and see if you could see they're smaller. This is a newer generation of tadpoles or polywogs. This water tends to be colder. Well, in the winter it's warmer because it's closer to the springs. Maybe you can see them swimming around. And here's that area that I started yesterday. I just started up some proposed zanjas. I'll go down there and visit that in a minute. I shouldn't let my goats out of the picture. That's goat pasture above that fence. Pig pasture down here. Recently recovered. It looks so rough right now, but that's because they've taken it down to the sod over the last 2 years. It'll come back and better because I've got zanjas going through there. I see some of my goats jump over the fence. That's okay, I don't care. They get along fine with the pigs. Now, can you see? I'll try to hold the camera steady, but can you see all those tadpoles? And you no doubt will see that oil slick, which I explained yesterday, comes from iron oxidating bacteria. All right, this is that area that I'm working on. I'll go up and you know, guarantee a little bit more water, and then I'll go to work on this area. Maybe I ought to do it as a separate video. You may recognize this from yesterday. You should, if you watched that video. This is all water I have available that I'm just letting go by, that I have available for that zangeria out there. And you know, the other interesting thing that happened last night was a thought that occurred to me. I said about moving this fence. I think I'm going to do that sooner rather than later, as they say, because I have come to suspect that that area right up in there was developed for clay about 150 years ago. Remember, this is an iron mined area from about, climax of it was probably 1890s maybe. Anyway, I think everyone around here knows that, but clay I think was also a factor. And this soil, I've never quite understood it up in there. I think I'm ready this year to put the pigs in there, work with them together, and reveal what was there. So possibly with that I'll end this video and start another one with that, with those brand new zanjas. Here's the water song for Wayne Frost to hear. Well, most of my herd of goats have decided to jump the fence and come down here and eat what the pigs aren't eating. That's just fine. They graze together well. Well, the pigs are more aggressive. They rip the sod up. The goats don't do that. Anyway, I'm down here at these are the new zanjas that I started. I proposed yesterday, and they are not necessarily level, but they're a start. And I'm going to go along and enhance them a little bit, and then I'm going to do something a bit dramatic about it. First, I'll enhance these as they are. So the goats went back home. Good. Anyway, here I am. This is the way it looked. All of it looked like this yesterday before I started. This is the result of what I did yesterday, just kind of, since it's so soft anyway, largely through the work of my grazing pigs. They're proposals for zanjas, really. They look like where they would go, but they're not necessarily dead level, and zanjas have to be dead level with hatches for drop structures. If you just dig a ditch that goes downhill, you're not building a zanja de infiltración. So now I'm going to go on enhancing these, and then that dramatic thing. Now this is what I just said about just digging a ditch down the hill. This is not a zanja de infiltración. It's not even really a hatch. It's just a ditch carrying water. But right at that spot, I mean, it is interrupting the flow coming down the hill and catching that. Right at this spot, I go on a level, approximate level. And I'm going to continue to do that. I'll probably try to lower this just a little bit and then raise that just a little bit and develop that. You see, there I divert the water away from plumb, a fall line. Here it broke through the breast, the temporary breast, and made its own hatch. And there it goes again. So I'll work here a little. Let's see if I can catch this. Right there is clay. See that? And as I go in with the hoe, the water is filling it, but that's what makes me think they were after from this area up through for a while. I think there was quite a clay bank here.